Okay.
All right. Good evening from my apartment in Midtown Toronto. Uh, Live, great late night from Willowdale. Even though we're not in Willowdale, but we're close. And I just like that tagline because that's where we started this, and that's where I grew up. And so we're going to talk about two quick issues tonight. I'm going to start with a local issue, and then move into Donald Trump, who will be inaugurated in 11 and a half hours from now. Uh, So the local issue is Black Lives Matter and Pride Toronto, and that's an issue that only matters really to people who live in the Toronto area. But it's an important issue because it's about human rights, it's about stupidity, it's about a lot of things. Okay, so some of you might recall last summer, Black Lives Matter hijacked the Pride Parade, and they made all these kind of silly demands, like not allowing police in the parade and all that sort of thing. Um, Black Lives Matter is kind of in my opinion, kind of a nutty fringe group who who has no credibility. And they exist in the U.S. and they started Canadian chapters, and they have less credibility in Canada. And they certainly lost all credibility last summer when they hijacked the Pride Parade, a parade where they had the lead float, one of the lead floats, and Pride in Toronto is committed to diversity, inclusivity, and tolerance, and includes everybody. Includes the police, includes Black Lives Matter, includes everybody. Includes, queers against Israeli apartheid. And they disrupted the parade, and they made all these demands, which were kind of silly. And of course, the other night here in Toronto, they hijacked the Pride annual meeting and made all these demands, and for some bizarre reason, Pride members voted for them, which includes excluding the police in the future Pride parade. Not Toronto police, but all police contingents, and as someone who's volunteered for Pride for many years, I noticed that the cops love being in the parade. The cops from all over Southern Ontario, they love being in the parade. Kitchener-Waterloo, Hamilton, Durham Regional, Hamilton, folks from Ottawa, and of course the Toronto police. Everyone they love being in the Pride Parade because it's fun. Everyone gets wet and they have a great time. And the Pride Parade, in my opinion, represents, the one particularly in Toronto, represents what Canada's all about: diversity, tolerance, inclusivity. Canada's not a perfect nation. We all know that. Oh my God, we know that. We know that what's going on with Indigenous peoples, and we certainly know that goes on in the Black communities, not just in Toronto, but in Montreal, Halifax, and other places. But it's not a perfect place. But Pride sort of represents what we're striving to be, right? So this T-shirt from last year's Pride was, "You can sit with us. You can sit with us." It's all about diversity and tolerance, and I think it was aimed basically after the world's gotten kind of nutty. In Europe, all these right-wing nationalist groups, these anti-immigrant forces, and of course the election of Donald Trump. He wasn't elected yet when that T-shirt was made and Pride developed a slogan, but the forces propelling him were already there. So Black Lives Matter thinks that they know everything. They just can hijack an organization, and they think that their issues are more important than everybody else's, and I think it's disgusting and it's disgraceful. And I think they're a nutty fringe group, Black Lives Matter. I don't trust them. I frankly I don't trust them any more than I trust Donald Trump. And I think in Canada they have these odd franchise operations around, and the one in Toronto. And I think if Pride succumbs to their demands and excludes the police, Pride should cease to exist, and hopefully someone else will take over. But if this is so nutty that this nutty group can hijack an institution like Pride, which is about inclusivity, diversity, and tolerance. Not perfect, just like Canada, not perfect, but then you got to wonder what's going on. So that brings me to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump and Black Lives Matter are the same. Kind of a nutty, not inclusive, not diverse. They're just all about themselves. And Black Lives Matter will slowly disappear because they're not credible, and they're not credible with a lot of the big NCAA. They're not credible with a lot of the big black organizations in the United States either. But I'm not even going to go there. Let's talk about Donald Trump and Obama's legacy. In many ways, Obama did a good job. Okay, he came in, and the U.S. economy and a lot of the world economies, including Canada's, were in bad shape. The U.S. economy being the worst. He did a good job rescuing it. He bailed out the auto sector with the help of Canada. We don't get enough credit. Ontario and the federal government helped bail out the auto sector. And of course, what did Michigan do? They voted for Donald Trump. So I don't know, man. What do you say about that? But Obama, he put a lot of energy and effort into the alternative fuels, the solar power industry, and the alternative energy sector in the United States employs far more people than coal and oil and all the resource extraction industry put together. Yes, the solar and wind, and that employs so many people. And the Obama administration put a lot of money into that, and they should be credited for it. But Obama, he killed thousands of people. Drone strikes, a lot of innocents were killed. Back Saudi Arabia in their war against Yemen, thousands were killed. He did nothing really on the Israeli-Palestinian front, despite John Kerry's great speech the other day. He didn't really care. He let Israel get away with it. If Obama really wanted to do something, he could have suspended aid to Israel and forced some sort of settlement, but he didn't. George H.W. Bush, who's now on his last legs of his life in a Houston hospital, he did more, actually, by stopping loan guarantees, housing loan guarantees, and that really startled the Israelis. Obama really hasn't done much on that front, and Obama's legacy is mixed. He didn't really do a lot of stuff for low-income people. Those people that voted for Trump, who are marginalized, he didn't put a lot of work into helping people who are victims of losing their jobs, and not just to trade, automation, and I'll come back to that in a sec. Trade, only the New York Times had a recent piece the other day that U.S. job losses, only 13% can be accounted to trade. It's actually automation has killed more U.S. jobs than trade could ever do. And Obama didn't really care about a lot of people left behind because of technology and trade and automation. He didn't care. His legacy on the economy is mixed. Yes, U.S. employment figures are up, and the economy's not in bad shape. He did some good things, particularly bailing out the automotive sector, and I'm not going to go and putting monies into the alternative energy sector. But his legacy is mixed on foreign policy, on domestic policy, and his sympathies for low-income people were limited. And on race relations, well, who knows? It's hard to say, right? Obama, hope and change, just like Justin Trudeau, a lot of hope but very little change. So, okay, I've rambled on. I don't want to ramble on more than I want to. So, but now we move to Donald Trump. But Donald Trump's election and his inauguration in less than 12 hours from now is a reflection of the fact that a lot of people are left behind, but a lot of people don't know. A lot of people are ignorant. Okay, you see all these interviews with people who come to Washington with the Donald Trump caps, and they say, "Oh, he's going to change things. He's a businessman. He knows how to operate companies. He's going to drain the swamp." And of course, that was so fraudulent and laughable. First of all, Donald Trump has bankrupted most of his companies. He's left so many contractors, and even the Trump Hotel in Washington, there leans against him because he hasn't paid contractors. He's left so many people in the lurch. He's screwed so many people in the operation of his businesses. There's so many lawsuits against him, and yet all these people think that he's a great business person. He's a great person. He's going to run the U.S. economy like his companies, which he basically bankrupted. And they believe in it. It's bizarre. But that goes to show you about the ignorance of people. It's like it's a religion. Donald Trump became a religion. You know, Donald Trump became a religion, and you believed in him despite the fact that all the evidence and all the facts were lined up against him. Yet people voted for him. And all those people they interviewed in Washington who come to see him, they just don't get it. It's amazing. His election was a victory of ignorance and stupidity. And Donald Trump is not going to do anything for all those people who've been left behind. He'll do one-off deals, Carrier, a couple of auto companies, but that's it. He's not going to do anything for people who, as I say, most of America has been laid off due to automation and technology. He's not going to do anything for you. He's not going to increase your wages. He's not going to give good severance packages. He's not going to talk about guaranteed annual income. He's not going to encourage strong unionization. He's not going to encourage social policies that will help people that have been left behind. He just won't. And eventually those people who voted for him are going to say, why did I vote for him? And because you voted, you're the same people who believe in God. You believe in religion. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no rationality. And it's very sad. So when I watch that stuff, and many of you watching this video, some of you, well, many of you, only a few of you, will see the same people interviewed. Oh, he's going to drain the swamp. He's a great business person. He's going to change America. And of course, he's going to do none of that. And it's very sad. So the inauguration of Donald Trump is a victory for ignorance and stupidity. And I've said this in videos, and I've said this in letters to the editor. I think you don't get a ballot in our society unless you have basic knowledge of civics and geography and current affairs. Because, ignorant people vote, and they vote on their fears and their ignorance and their stupidity, and it's very sad. And I'm going to end this video because it's going on long enough. We'll see where Donald Trump goes. But just remember, don't scapegoat people. Donald Trump won scapegoating foreigners, Chinese, Mexicans, and yet ultimately it's internal factors like technology and automation are responsible for a lot of job losses. And those are the facts, and they are undisputed. And remember to look at the facts before you vote, okay? And many people don't, and it's very sad. And we're entering uncharted territories. We're going to see where the world goes, and I don't know. Obama's legacy is mixed. He's not the great hero. He's not the great change. His legacy is mixed, and it's just like Justin Bieber Trudeau here in Canada. I call him Justin Bieber Trudeau because he is probably the dumbest prime minister we've ever had. He promised hope and change, and we're not getting a lot of either. So, okay. On that note, Khalid, let's end it because I've gone on beyond the
allotted time.
The allotted time, yeah.
Okay.